But no matter what you do, don't screw this up. If you mess this one up, you're finished. Hey, I'm Justin, and I run Cosmic Academy. We're an artist development program. For over 10 years, we've helped over 800 DJs and producers achieve incredible results. They sign to the biggest labels like Spinnin, Defected, Anjuna, Monstercat. They play Ultra, Tomorrowland, and EDC. I've also lectured and worked with students at top universities like Harvard and NYU. And these are the 10 biggest mistakes I see when people are trying to make it in music. Mistake number 1, expecting fast results. We've all heard the story of Martin Garrix getting signed to Spinnin Records at 16, and a year later, he's playing the main stage of Ultra. Assume that is not you. Most artists take hundreds of signings to labels to get their way up to a Spinnin or a big label. Most people take hundreds of gigs. It takes them hundreds of gigs before they even get to a festival. Forget getting on an Ultra or an EDC. So in general, for most people, this takes a long time. Your knowledge over the DAW also takes a while. Building a brand takes a long time. Working your way up the label system, working your way up the Spotify algorithm, it all takes a while. And sure, there's people that get a hit and that just shoots them up, but you can't assume that's going to happen. We always say this to our students, you can't predict a hit. If you could make a hit, you'd make one every time, but you can't. So it's a major mistake when people come in and they want to be a music producer, they crack FL Studio, and a year later, they're disappointed that they're not playing EDC. So don't expect fast results. This is a long game, and you're probably not the next Martin Garrix. Which brings me to number 2. Mistake number 2 is comparing your step 1 to their step 10. Comparison in general is awful in this space. Constantly looking at what is this artist doing? Constantly checking what is this person making? Please realize, please appreciate that the place you're currently in with your music, with your marketing, with your career in general, you can't compare yourself to deadmau5. My students will sometimes be like that. They'll be like, hey, Justin, I saw what Chris Lake was doing, and I think I'm going to try something like that. Chris Lake has been signing music to really significant labels for 20 years. He sells out shows to 10,000, 20,000 people. You're in an entirely different position than him, and you're comparing your step 1 to his step 10. So don't compare yourself to anyone else. You're on your own journey. Mistake number 3, and this is a big one. Don't screw this up, but you gotta smash that like button. It's a mistake not to. I don't know if you know this, but when you smash the like button, you give a cookie to a baby elephant. Baby elephants, this is true, they need cookies to grow. They don't care what types, chocolate chip, oatmeal is, they like them all. So smash that like button, give out some cookies. But back to some actual mistakes. Chasing new genres. I see this all the time. There's an artist that makes some hot new sound, and then you think you're gonna make it so you can catapult yourself as well. Here's the problem with that. By the time you figure out how to make that sound, that's not gonna be the hot sound anymore. I have a student, his name is Charles D. He's crushing it right now in techno. And right now, that sound in techno is really big. And he's on Drum Code, he's been signed by Eric Prydz, but he didn't just start making that sound this year. No, he's been making that sound for the last 10 years. When he took my program before he even signed a record, he was making that sound. I have another student, Nostalgics. She makes bass house, and right now, bass house is really big. And she's on Night Bass and Confession and Dimac, but she didn't just start doing it last year because it's cool. No, I remember her sitting in my class 6-7 years ago, wanting to make bass house way before it became popular. So don't chase those genres, make exactly what you love. Next mistake, thinking that buying gear or getting the fancy new plugin is gonna make you better. When I speak at certain universities, they'll show me their studio rooms. Studio rooms at NYU are multi-million dollars. And it's pretty cool. They have a $30,000 microphone. But if you suck at singing, that microphone's not gonna make you any better. Most of the music that you hear and you love was probably made on someone's MacBook Pro, on an airplane, going from one show to the next show. Seriously, these people you love, they don't sit in $10 million studios all day. It's impossible. They're doing 250 shows a year. The gear is fun, but it's not gonna make you a better producer. There's a quote, we always say it, it's not the hammer, it's the architect. It reminds me of a really famous story about Eddie Van Halen from Van Halen. He's one of the greatest guitar players ever, and he had this infamous, really tricked out, customized guitar that he built himself. One day, another musician came to him, and this musician was a really good guitarist as well. And he said, "Hey Eddie, you've got this signature sound, but it's because you have this customized, tricked out guitar you built. Take my guitar. I just got a regular guitar. Take my guitar." And Eddie took this guy's guitar. It was just a normal guitar. And to this other musician's amazement, Eddie Van Halen still sounded like Eddie Van Halen. What I'm trying to say is, if you don't know how to use the DAW, if you can't make great music with stock plugins, then a $5,000 Moog synthesizer is not going to change anything. Next mistake, ignoring the marketing. In our program, Cosmic Academy, we dedicate half the classes to marketing and branding. It is so important. Today, people, they're not discovering you on the radio or on blogs. Today, your fans, they're finding you on social media. If you're not marketing your music, you can't expect anyone to hear it. And the labels and the venues and the festivals, they only want to work with artists that are willing to market themselves. Now, you can sit there and be upset about this and say, well, that's unfair, I wish it was how it used to be. But marketing's always been part of music. In the 1960s, the Beatles were producing full-length movies, motion pictures. They were putting out cartoons, Yellow Submarine, doing all this extra marketing, which helped their music. And then there's obviously the era of the music videos in the 80s and the early 90s. There's choreographed dances on MTV and TRL. Marketing has always been part of it. The thing that's changed is the medium. It's not TV anymore. It's not music videos. It's now social media. Which brings me to the next mistake, refusing to embrace change. Whether we're talking about the music marketing, the technology, the ways that deals are done, you need to be willing and you need to embrace change in music. It is a constantly evolving industry. The ways in which the contracts are done today is different than 5 years ago. The marketing is constantly changing. You can't expect to make a post on Facebook today and get 10,000 followers. The way the music is being released is different today. The tools are always updating. Do you have any idea how often Spotify is changing how the platform is working? All the time. And the sad thing that happens is people get set in their ways, and that's how you get left behind. And that's another reason why our program, Cosmic Academy, is a lifetime thing. When people take our classes, they actually get lifetime access to us, and we're always updating them on the changes. If you're interested in applying, I'll leave a link below. Next mistake, and this is huge, trying to do it alone. Community is everything in music. My students get results because of the community they're in. I can tell you endless stories of this student helping this student, and then they played EDC. It is by far one of, if not the most important factor. If you're trying to do this on your own, it's going to be exceptionally difficult. And I'm not saying that you must have a community like our program, but at some point, you will have to be collaborative, with singers, with other producers. But everything in music is collaborative, even beyond that, working with agents, working with managers, working with the labels, working with promoters. You need to be willing to work with people, and you have to be good at it. If you become siloed off as an artist, like you don't want to work with anyone, or on the flip side, people don't want to work with you, you're not going to see many results. So next mistake. Next mistake is looking for shortcuts. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. I've learned this from my students, I've learned this from the artists I've worked with, and I've learned this from building this company. I'll meet people and they'll be shocked. Wow, I just found out about Cosmic Academy. You guys are really getting going. And it's no, we've actually been around for over 12 years. And I've been in music for almost 20. You can't cheat your way up. Sure, you could pay someone to make your music, you can hire ghost producers, but that's going to only work so long. One day, you'll actually be in a studio with some legitimate people or with a record label. You're going to realize you have no idea what you're talking about, and it's going to be all over. You will be exposed. And sure, you can buy plays or fake fans, but eventually you will get booked at a real show. And when 0 people show up, because it's all fake, you will be exposed. If you really want to do this thing, this is your dream to do, then do it the right way. Step by step. The people that take shortcuts, they never last. But one of the benefits for being around so long is that you see those people. You see the people that take shortcuts, and I'll tell you, sitting here, they're not around anymore. Next mistake, you stop learning. For some reason, there are producers that'll like get to a level with their music and just think they're all good. Like they stop learning. They think that they've achieved this level and they're experts already. They don't realize is the other people that are submitting to labels, the other people that are approaching the same promoters and venues, the people they're competing with, they're actually getting better. And if you're at this spot, in the same spot, while they're getting better all the time, you will be left behind. You'd be surprised at how many advanced producers take our program. People that have been doing this for 5-10 years, and they still come to us. Why? Because they know they have to keep learning. It's a major mistake to think that you've learned it all. If you stay stagnant and the people around you keep learning, they're going to take your place. The next mistake. And this next mistake, it is so important. I've actually dedicated an entire video to the topic. I want you to watch that one next. We're going to discuss it and I'll show you how to fix it. I'll see you in there.